Gotta give it a second. Oh, wait a minute. We are Carlos. We are live right now.
All
Yes. What
right.
is up, everybody? Listen, welcome to another Pin to Gas podcast. I'm your host, as Jules always says, Chris the whole effing show Simcoe. Right? Unfortunately, Jules is not here with us today. He's actually got a job interview, so I need everybody to send those good vibes out. And yeah, let's hope he kills it and gets it. So, but anyway. What an honor it is to sit down with the legend himself, as many of you know him, all around the paddock, right? All around America. My man, Carlos, what is going on?
Oh, not much. Happy to be on the show. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, man. Listen, it was an honor. Me and you've been trying to line this up for a while. And yeah, we're finally sitting down. We're here. Let's have a good time. I see you're sitting in your van right now. So why don't you tell us where you're at?
Yeah. So during the week, I've got a day job testing motorcycles. I'm a calibration engineer. So I develop traction control, ABS cals, all sorts of different active safety calibrations for various motorcycle manufacturers. So yeah, taking the call here at the test track in my moto van.
That's epic, man. I love it, dude. Dude, what a job, right? So how did you end up doing what you're doing for your daytime job?
Yeah. So, I guess it all started back when I turned 18. I knew I loved motorcycles and ideally, I wanted to race them, but parents never let me. It was too dangerous, right? So I had to start somewhere, and I thought going to school for engineering would be good. I'd be able to make some money, and I'd be able to learn about motorcycles. And then while I'm getting started racing, so went to school for engineering and pursued my racing career at the same time. And 10 years later, I'm a pro racer and doing really well in the racing circuit. And an opportunity came available here at Bosch to take a test position. And with my background racing and engineering, it was a really good fit. So yeah, got the job here back in June of this year.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. That sounds like a really fun job. So do you actually ride the motorcycles and actually test it out? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm on a bike pretty much every day.
Bro, and obviously you got a certain amount of fleet of motorcycle, a variety of range of motorcycles, or just a couple in particular?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of our own motorcycles that we use for like training and practice and stuff like that. And then we get our customer motorcycles. So these are all like the OEM manufacturers that come to us to develop the calibrations for them. So it depends whatever project I'm given at a time. Usually, I'm assigned, one or two different motorcycle applications at a time to work on. Once I finish those, we move on to the next bike and it's a new one. So we rotate through a lot of bikes and we have a lot of bikes we ride. And also, with my coworkers, I help them out. So I get on their bikes, which are different as well. So yeah, we ride a bunch of different things.
What's your favorite?
My favorite bike that I've ridden at work?
Yeah.
I can't talk about it.
Okay. All right. You're like, this is my girl right here. Nobody else touch it.
No, it's always good getting different feedback from different people and different perspectives, because people ride the bike differently, and you want to be robust to all your different riders, right? You want a calibration that works well for everyone, not just one person.
No,
so
yeah,
it's good getting multiple feedback.
Absolutely. I was just joking because you see her right there. Yeah, that's you can ride her, but but that's take care of my baby right there, right? Yeah. But anyway, Carlos, bro, how did you get into motorcycles to begin with, right? Because I grew up in the Navy. My dad was a fighter pilot, right? And obviously he rode motorcycles, and I used to ride with him, and that's my love of motorcycles started, right? So who introduced you to the beautiful things of two wheels?
So it was my dad. He rode. He had like a little dirt bike when he was growing up, and he liked dirt bikes. He would take my brothers and I to Supercross. So we'd go watch the Supercross races. Later, when I think I was like, 14, 15, basically high school time, we finally convinced my mom to let us get little dirt bikes to start on those. So I wasn't able to get street bikes, but we were able to get on dirt bikes in high school, and I trail rode dirt bikes with my two brothers and my dad. And yeah, we did that in northern Michigan, trail riding dirt bikes whenever we could. and then watch Supercross. But I remember seeing sport bikes in the dealership, and I was like, oh, that's what I want to get on. My parents said, hell no. So I had to wait a little bit for that.
Yeah. So when I turned 16, I actually got a motorcycle. I don't know how I convinced my mom to into that one, but instead of getting a car, I got a motorcycle, 1996 ZX6R, as a matter of fact. Red. Yes, it was firecracker red. I'll never forget her, right? That was one bike I wish I would have always kept my hands on. Your first true love, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I grew up riding dirt bikes. I didn't have my own. My parents, not my parents, my dad was like, hell yeah, let's get him a bike. My mom's like, not going to happen, right? But fortunately for me, the bases we went to, I usually ended up with a friend that, guess what, had a dirt bike. So, bam, there was my first learning riding, right? So I grew up riding other people's dirt bikes. And yeah, just growing up, just pinning the gas not pinning the gas. I'll say just getting on there and learning, right? The basics of riding, took a safety course and, all that good stuff, and ended up doing track days, got into racing, and yeah. So all that fun stuff. But yeah, Carlos, so man, tell us how your first motorcycle you bought transitioned into the legend you are today.
Yeah. So first motorcycle I bought, it was a 2003 Yamaha R6.
Nice.
So I turned 18. I moved out of my parents' house. I got a job at Yamaha snowmobile group doing snowmobile marketing, and some of my coworkers there raced and did track days. So they kind of helped me get started, and they steered me in the direction of this 03 R6. I got on the Wira BBS forums, back in the day.
Yep.
Found this bike in Virginia. Got my buddy to drive there with me because I didn't have a truck or anything. And we drove there in his manual 2-door Ford Ranger. And we drove to Virginia, picked this bike up, stayed at the dude's house. It was this guy selling his backup bike that he didn't use for racing. Anyway, I drove it back, and I didn't know what track days were. So when I got started, I just went right to race school. Did my race school at Grattan Raceway in April with Team Chicago Race School. I remember it very well because it was like snowing, and there was like a little river that had kind of run across the track that had frozen, and we had to cross over it in the morning. So that was my first experience. And then I did racing, and I was really slow at first. I got lapped twice in my first sprint race, but I loved it. I was hooked, right? So I raced as much as I could afford, which wasn't much in the first few years. I was going to college, so I was a poor college kid. Just did like a couple weekends a year. So that was like 2009 to 2011 or so. And then, 2012, I did my first full amateur season. I finally started getting somewhat fast. Started getting some podiums, started getting some wins, and ended up winning the amateur championship. And then I was really hooked after that. I was like, okay, this winning thing's real nice.
Right.
So yeah, I went expert. And then that year I also went pro because I figured out, how many points I had to get my pro license. And I started racing AMA Pro back in the day. And then I did, I could only afford to do, a handful of pro races each year. So I just, wild carded a couple of rounds for a number of years. But I kept at it, raced as much as I could afford and kept improving. I was always, focused on my lap times and just trying to get faster, which I still am today.
Right.
And then, a few years ago, thanks in part to COVID, COVID happened and my job went pretty remote. And I never really had the time to travel to do the pro series. But being remote, I did. So I was like, okay, I'm going for it. I've been doing it a while. I think I can hold my own. And I did, and got some really good results. A lot of top tens. And yeah, that was my first, full pro season. And I've been doing a full season ever since. And it's been awesome. And we keep getting faster, just keep chipping away at it. So now it's like, got the pro podium in sight. We're so close, and I'm feeling really good about next year.
Like I said, everybody, you hear this? Legend. Call it legend right here. Yes, you see it on his shirt. Send it. Yes. So anyway, I have a couple. So my man Ryan Rawls, what is up, Ryan? He says, what is up, Super Carl?
What is up?
Yeah, what is
Welcome.
up, my man?
Welcome.
Yeah, Jonathan, what's going on, my man? So yeah, man, that's what a journey, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. It's definitely been a journey.
right, and it happened pretty quickly too, right? You went from amateur to pro, and yeah, look at
Yeah.
you now.
Once I started, I like something clicked in, I think 2011. And I just like, finally was close enough to people that I could like learn a little bit from them. And then once I was there, I was able to learn really quick. And yeah, the transition I remember from amateur to expert was a little tough, and then expert to pro was a little tough too. But then after a couple of years of doing that pro stuff, I got really comfortable, and we've just been kind of steadily chipping away at it, getting faster each year.
That's so. Your old school favorite race bike you grew up racing?
Man, what you're asking? What my
Yeah,
favorite?
right. Your favorite race
Um,
bike you grew up racing when you first started? Like, oh man, the
oh,
R6 was like my favorite. I miss it or whatever.
well, I've really only had the R6 until
Okay.
recently. So like I
Okay.
had that '03 R6, and then after I think my amateur year, I like a chain snapped and took out my engine cases. So I was like, all right, time to upgrade. And I got the '08 to 6 or the '06 to 16 Yamaha R6, and I was on that for 10 years, and
Yeah.
that same bike I even took and did my first full pro season on. And then the last couple of years, I switched to first the Suzuki G6R 600 and then the 750. So yeah, my favorite bike growing up, it's got to be the R6 because that was the only one.
Right. Yeah. So how you like the 750?
It's nice. There's definitely advantages and disadvantages to it. I really like the power delivery on the 750. It's a lot more like linear torque, and it feels like it kind of pulls harder coming out of the corners. So the R6 you'd really have to scream it. This one feels like you've got more torque, you can accelerate a little harder. It's also nice in the fact that it's detuned rather than building an engine, up to the horsepower levels. And that basically means I don't have to rebuild the engine all the time. So that's really nice too. It's powerful and it's going to last a long time. Where we have been struggling with the 750 a bit is we've had some electronic issues, gremlins that come and go randomly and intermittently, it seems. So we've been struggling with that, but it's it's prototype fly-by-wire system that was developed in the ECU and everything. So we knew there was going to be a little bit of learning. And we're working with Team Hammer, Chris Ulrich. He's done a great job developing that system, and he's constantly improving it, constantly tweaking it, and rolling out all these updates and fixes for us every weekend. So, both of us together, we're working on it, and we're making some good progress. And yeah, I'm hopeful that it's going to be a little more robust for us this year, and we'll have some good results. But yeah, when that bike's working and we're not having issues, it's really nice. It's a super enjoyable bike to ride.
Yeah, it's it's also a lot cheaper to race because, like you said, going in the engine, rebuilding engines, $6,000-$10,000, right? I mean, yeah, they're not cheap. But Ryan, yes, Ryan, you did, and I actually seen the picture myself on what was it, Instagram or Facebook? But Carl, man, just bought a sweet CBR 900RR. Yeah, man, tell us about
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, so I've kind of lately been on this like '90s sport bike kick. I mean, I always liked them, right? Because like when I grew up, I wanted those sweet, like all the '90s colors that were just rad and awesome. Like I wanted that. My parents were always telling me no. And now that I'm older and I've got some money, I'm like, I'm buying some '90s sport bikes that I've always wanted. So I'm always scouring, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, looking for deals, and I have some buddies that send me deals when they see them. But yeah, just first I started my '90s sport bike kick. I got a CBR 600 F3, a '96, and then
nice.
I got a second one, and both of them needed carb cleans, had been sitting, but were in really nice shape. So I've been like going through them and restoring them. And then yeah, this 900RR, this one actually ran fine, ran great. It just popped up, and I immediately drove to go pick it up. It's awesome. It's like purple and high vis yellow. It's a 95. I've been looking for a CBR 900 for a while since I got those F3s, and I snagged that one. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't really done anything with it. I only got it like a month or two ago. But I'm going to be going through it this winter, putting some fresh tires on it, changing all the fluids, just getting it ready to go. And then I also actually picked up one more 90 sport bike recently that I'm super excited about. It's a 93 Yamaha YZF 750R. I think that's
nice.
Yeah, it's pinky. It's
yes.
pink and blue, and it is mint. I got it from this old dude, and I mean, it looks like it rolled off the dealer floor. Like, it is mint and clean, and I'm super excited about it. So
I can't wait to see it. You definitely have to post some pictures of that beauty for sure.
Yeah, I'm waiting until I get them all cleaned up and all ready to go, and then I'm definitely gonna do some photo shoots, some videos. Like, I got some cool stuff in mind that'll be coming down the social media pipeline.
Nice. Are you actually gonna ride them?
Yeah, I don't know about the pink one, because it is literally like perfect, and I don't know if I trust myself to not scratch it or anything.
Right.
But the F3s, I've ridden those already. And, I test drove the 900 RR, but that one I'm definitely going to ride. That one's got like a few small scratches already, so I'm not too worried about, dinging that one up. The 93, that one might just stay in the garage and look at it for a while.
Yeah. So one of my dream bikes, I started doing it too, but mine's not a 90s. I got always wanted an RC51, so I found one in North Carolina, Eden, North Carolina, because I'm in Roanoke, Virginia, right? So it was like an hour and 20-minute drive, hour and 15-minute drive, something like that. It's a 03. It had 15,400 miles on it, with a single Leo Vinci full pipe on it. Man, she's a beauty, and so I know what you mean. I love to just go out there and just stare at her and I love you so much, right? Like, yeah. Fire up, listen to her, like, oh my God, sit on her and pretend I'm Nikki Hayden or Miguel Duhamel, right? And make funny noises. Of course, our women come outside and look at us like, what is wrong with y'all, right? I mean,
boys and their toys, right?
Right. What can we say? That our love is deep. When we love something, we really, really love something. So. Yeah, that's man. Right. Yeah. So, dude, the cost of racing back then versus now. Is there a real big major difference?
Like, are you talking?
I'd say the past 8 years.
Okay. Are you talking going from like club racing to pro racing, or just the difference of 8 years time?
Both.
Okay. So, yeah, pro racing definitely more expensive than club racing. I mean, you're going through a lot more tires, your fresh tires every session to be competitive. You have to pay for crew guys, you have to pay for transport because you're going all over the country. You got a bunch of logistics stuff. You got to get shirts made. You're spending a lot more to promote sponsors, getting like canopies made, things like that. So yes, compared to club racing, you can make tires last a little longer in club racing, because the competition's not as high. And it's you can do more regional stuff, so you can reduce costs. So yeah, I mean, I would say 100-200% more expensive just from like club racing to pro racing. And then, just in the difference of the 8 years, its costs have gone up. Not a huge amount, but definitely significant. I think a lot of it's just from like inflation and things like that. But, that's a little less significant than the jump from club racing to pro and the increase of costs. So yeah, it's definitely more expensive now, but at this level, we're also able to bring in more money to pay for it all. So, pretty much the profit and loss has never really changed. It's just like spending more, making more, right? Yeah. Spending less, making less.
Yeah. So what about this? Like, when you first went from amateur in your first AMA season as a professional, the cost difference between that, was it like $10,000, $15,000? I mean, was it a significant jump just from that one transition?
Well, yeah, like I said, when I first got transitioned from first you have to go from amateur to expert, and then you have to get so many points from expert to go to pro. And yeah, when I did that transition to pro, it was quite a bit more expensive. Like I couldn't afford to do the whole championship, a whole pro championship. So that's why I was saying I would only do like one or two close local, pro races each year, because then I could keep the travel costs down, and I could do them. So yeah, for probably 6 or 7 years, I would just do one or two pro races a year, pretty much MotoAmerica, maybe like Mid Ohio, maybe Pittsburgh, and that's it, because that's really all I could afford. And yeah, the jump it's quite significant. Like I don't know, a club weekend, you're probably spending a fifth of what you would spend on a pro weekend, roughly.
Yeah.
Maybe a quarter.
Yeah. So how was the first time at Daytona on the banking? Yeah, how was that? What's that like? Because I've never been and I want to go. I'm gonna try to make Daytona this year. I'm definitely gonna be in Atlanta and Jersey, but I'm gonna try to make Daytona.
Cool.
But what's it like riding the banking?
Yeah, so it's everyone says it. There's no other track like Daytona. It's it's something else. You may do other speedways, but it's nothing really compares to Daytona. And I didn't really know much about the track. Like I just knew the name and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a top level track, but I didn't know like the banking or the layout when I first went. And man, let me tell you, the first time I rolled through that tunnel and I saw the banking, I was like, wait, we're riding on that? Like it's so steep when you see it in real life. Like the cameras never do it justice, and you have to like see it to like realize how steep the banking really is. So that was a little intimidating. But then I got out on there, and first couple laps, I think I was even more intimidated because like it's scary. Like I didn't even want to go up the banking. Like I was just kind of going slow down at close to the apron, like while I was getting comfortable. And then when I tried to go up the banking the first couple times, I'd get close to that wall. You kind of get sucked in a little bit with the wall draft, and that's scary. So like it was pretty intimidating at first. And then also like the first time I went out, it was the morning practice, and coming around the first set of banking that you'll go on, it like the sun shines directly in your eyes. So you're blinded for like 4 or 5 seconds. And now like it's no big deal because the banking will just kind of carry you and you just hold it pinned. But at the time I'm just scared because I'm going like, I don't know, however fast, like 150, and can't see anything. And I didn't know which way the track went. So it was scary. It was intimidating. But after, I don't know, 5 laps or so, I started figuring it out. Started talking to some guys that have been there before. They gave me some tips and everything. And then, now it's like I can run that place with my eyes shut. Like it's actually one of my more relaxing tracks because there's a lot of time to like rest out there. But at first it's kind of intimidating. It's scary, but it's a very cool, very unique experience. It's awesome going super fast. It's awesome. Like you might get a little draft at a lot of these other tracks, but like there's nothing like drafting at Daytona. That is like, it's like a whole nother thing you got to learn. It's fun.
Well, so obviously saying that you obviously, do you gear your bike towards more banking on getting the draft from people there?
Yeah, you have to. So Daytona is a very tricky track with gearing. So yes, you gear it for the draft. So, you wouldn't, if you got to gear your bike for the draft, because in the race, you're going to be drafting other people. You don't want to just gear it when you're out there by yourself pushing wind, because if you do that and then you get in a draft, you're going to be bouncing off the rev limiter in 6th gear. Like it won't be tall enough. So you gear it, you go out, you get a good, draft going in practice, and then you gear it for that draft. So it's like a little taller than you'd want just by yourself. But additionally, the wind plays a really significant part at Daytona. So like any given weekend at Daytona, I can be, up 1 or even 2, or down, up or down even 1 or 2 teeth in the rear sprocket, just like changing wind direction. That can affect it too. And it's definitely a track with a lot more to consider for gearing selection.
I bet. And I'm sure it's super tricky, just like you said, right? It's depending on the wind. So higher wind speed, you definitely gonna have to change your gearing and yada yada yada. Yeah.
Direction, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you think that does Daytona count towards 600 super sport points for the season?
Nope. It's a one-off event. that they do with supersport rules, but it doesn't count towards the championship.
Yeah. Do you think it's something it should be?
I don't. Maybe like last year when we were doing other endurance races, pit stops and stuff, maybe then. But seeing how this year we're not doing any more endurance races, and this is a unique endurance race, I don't think it should be. It creates a lot of cost for people. So if someone wants to do the championship, now they have to go get a bunch of quick change stuff, a quick fill tank, dump can.
Yeah.
You got to bring like 6 crew. So I like leaving it off because then it gives people the option if they want to do the championship and they can, but they don't have to. So I like having it be its own standalone thing.
Yeah. I mean, and that makes a lot of sense, but I hear it from both sides, right? Yeah, I think it should. No, just like what you said, right? Case in point, it's such a unique track and such a unique bike setup, quick change, because that quick change stuff is not cheap. It's expensive alone, right? And then, the gas tank and the fire extinguishers, and the guys got to have the fire,
dump
suit,
cans. You need the impact guns. You got to train crew. You need special stands to facilitate like the quick wheel changes. Like, you're talking like 10 grand. You're probably going to throw into it to get ready for this race.
Yeah, but it's worth it, right?
Oh yeah,
it's so worth it.
I've gone ever since I did that first Daytona. I've gone to every single one except for one when I was injured. But every single one, both the fall and the springtime one since that first event in 2012. So I've gone, 22 times to Daytona now or something.
That's awesome. That's so. Is that suffice to say that that's your favorite track on the calendar?
No, it's not. I mean, I like Daytona. It's definitely up there, but it's not. My favorite track, hands down, is MotoAmerica. That, was all those wild card rounds I was doing every year. I did MotoAmerica. I love that track. It's so long. There's, super long straightaways, hard braking zones, which I love. The fans are amazing. The facility's amazing, like showers, food everywhere. You can watch from literally the inside or outside of every single corner on that track. It's incredible. The downtown's amazing. Everything about MotoAmerica I love. And then some of my other favorite tracks, Coda, which I just did for the first time this year. Oh, I love that track. That's super sweet. I got my best result there. So
nice.
That's definitely my second favorite track. And then probably Laguna is my third favorite.
Yes, I've been to Laguna once. I went in 2005, the first year MotoGP come back, which was awesome. I met everybody. It was Max Biaggi, all of them. It was first time I got my Rossi helmet signed, all that good stuff. It was nice. That track's magical. A lot of people, like what you said, even at Texas, turn one at Coda is like, it don't do it no justice, right? And when you crest to the top, it actually bottlenecks before it goes down to the right? So it forces everybody to, and then spreads back out, which was pretty cool. And Laguna, right? Top of the corkscrew all the way down to turn 11. It's just, you're standing there looking like, it's intense, right? So what's it like to ride Coda?
Oh man, well I can tell you this year it was hot, but it was really cool. Like, Coda is a world level track, so I got to practice it on video games and stuff before I went there. So I had a pretty good idea of the layout of the track, but man, it's really cool. Like turn one, like you said, just the track in general. You never get a good feel for the elevation of the track until you're actually there. It's like cameras and video games don't do it justice. And then when you're there, I'm like, oh man, this turn one is like you're going up a mountain in the braking zone. But yeah, that I love that. Like, I don't think I've ridden anywhere else that has such a steep uphill in the braking zone, which just allows you to just decelerate so quickly. So that was really unique. And that's one of my areas I'm really good is on the brakes, and one area I really like. So this track played really well to that. It had has a lot of like hard braking zones, which I very much enjoyed. And it's fast. It's got some flowy sections. It's got a really long straightaway, some technical sections. It's got a little bit of everything, but what I really like is a lot of passing opportunities. It's not hard to pass at that track. You can get it done quick, and it's just cool. It's a cool facility. It's really, you can tell they spent some money on it. It's really nice. and
Yeah,
you feel like a rock star riding on it.
You do. I've never ridden it, but I've been there. Me and one of my best friends, we usually go every year. So I've been, I think, 5 or 6 times to Dakota for the GP race, and it's a magical place for sure, right? It's not that bad of a walk to get around either, right? Because they have sections you can actually cut across and all that good stuff. And the tower is amazing if you get on top of that, and see the whole thing. Yeah, it's turn 12. See, coming out of 12 down that back long straight, and I think it's 13 is that real sharp left hand corner, right?
I think that sharp left hand corner might be 12.
Okay,
might be
okay.
11 coming onto that long straight.
All right, so that hard is that the hardest braking point on the track?
No, probably. I mean, you're slowing down the most for that corner. You're like the speed differential from where you start braking to where you stop braking is the biggest there because it's such a long straightaway. You're going faster, but I feel like turn 1 you have the most deceleration because it's uphill, so you can really get on the binders, and really slow down quick.
Yeah, it's so you have to set your bike up different because of turn 1 as far as the front end goes, so you didn't bottom out.
So all right, so setting it up different for turn 1. Generally, we don't try to like optimize a bike setup for one specific corner because then it's going to hurt us in other corners. So it's always like a trade-off. You're trying to find the best balance.
Right.
But the question about bottoming, yes, we definitely at a track like Coda, we wanted to make sure we weren't bottoming on the brakes because when you bottom on the brakes, then you're you don't have good bump absorption capabilities in the front. Like if you hit a bump, it's easy to lose the front. Your rear wheel's going to want to lift up because it doesn't have any more front suspension to absorb some stuff. So it's not good to be on the bottom. So yeah, we definitely wanted to ensure we weren't bottoming out on the brakes, especially with so many hard braking zones at Coda. So we did set up the front so stiff enough, had enough damping that we wouldn't be stuck on that bump stop in the braking zones.
Yeah, because once you get to that point, your front tire kind of acts like a suspension. I touched my microphone's super sensitive, so if I just barely it cuts on and off, right? So your front tire, once the front forks bottom out and you do hit a bump or whatever, your front tire, I guess, in a sense, would kind of be like a little suspension. So try to give more and make that extra grip. And obviously, you already know it don't, and that's when, the front goes bye-bye, right? And,
I mean, your front tire is always acting a little bit as a suspension, right? But then it's when you are on the bump stop, now you're just losing your actual suspension on top of that, right? So now you're just stuck with that tire. And yeah, the tires are great. Like the Dunlops, it's incredible what they can do and how good they've gotten. They're constantly developing them. But just like anything, you can only push stuff so hard until you find the limits. So
but that's what our sport's about. You got to push it to find a limit, and then you know where to improve, right? Okay, I think I can go faster if we do this and this and this, blah, blah, blah. So, listen, my good mate, Dustin, man, I just had him on the podcast.
Dustin, he's awesome.
Dude, Dustin he's a legend too himself, and what an honor it is to be friends with him, man. He's awesome. But anyway, he says, Carl, great job this year, homie. Can't wait for next season. It's going to be a dogfight. Definitely, we will have more eyes on us. Next generation super sport. Yep.
Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it. And, I got to give a shout out to Dustin too. He's been a tremendous help to us all year. I can't tell you how many times we've gone over to Dustin and asked him for, advice or help on something we're struggling with getting the bike set up. He is just a library of immense knowledge, very talented, very intelligent, and a great dude. Love spending time with him in the paddock. So thank you for the kind words. Can't wait for next year, Dustin.
Yeah, Dustin's awesome. So me and him actually been friends for a while, and I met him in Jersey this year, just like I met most everybody in Jersey this year. And I only got a chance to see him for a second because he was coming out of not Park Ferme, but where you guys go in Tech, yeah, and then they're walking over, and I was like, Dustin, what is up? He's like, hey man, what's up? And all that. But yeah, it was great, man. It's good stuff. So New Jersey, Carl, bro, that was rough, wasn't it? The rain and wasn't pretty, was it?
Yeah, it was a tough one, last round of the year. Yeah, the rain, we were thoroughly soaked like pretty much all weekend, right? And yeah, our electrical gremlins came back. They came for other people too. You throw that much water in a bike, it starts getting its way into the connections and stuff, and has some issues. But yeah, we're I like the rain. It was fun, but I also just that was a tough weekend. Wanted to make sure I got through it on two wheels.
That's right. Everybody did. I mean, it was me included, right? It was rain, and then yeah, it was a lot of rain. Jules, he actually corner marshaled on Friday and Saturday. Now I can't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. Something tells me it was Saturday, but he eventually found me, and he's walking through the paddock, slumped over like this, just drenched. He's like, "Can we please just go back to the hotel? I'm done." I was like, "Yeah, bro, let's roll." Yeah, yeah. But man, being a corner marshal, that's what a job that is. It's a big salute to him and everybody that does it, because without them guys, the legend right here and everybody else wouldn't be able to get out there and pin the gas and have fun. So yeah, thank you to all everybody that does it. It's very important. It really is. So Carl, the beginning of this year, 2023, your expectations coming in versus the results towards the end of the year. Is it a great season? Rate it from 0 to 10, your season.
Probably like a 6, I would say. We had our sights set a little bit higher. We had some issues. I think we could have achieved it, which that's why I rate it lowly. It sucks when you could do better than you did. And I think this year was one of those. We had one of the endurance races. We fumbled our pit stop. We were in 7th, and we knocked out the rear brake pads when we were changing the rear wheel and lost a ton of time. So finished far back in that one. And then the other endurance race, we were doing pretty well. I think we were like 9th, and another rider crashed right behind us, and their bike slid into me and took me out. So that was another one we couldn't really control. And then we missed a lot of track time this year with some bike issues as well. But when we were on it, mistake free and not having any bike issues, we did really well. And that to me tells me we've got a lot of potential, more than the championships results show this year. I think we finished 10th in the championship, and really we had a target of top 5, and I think that's doable. We gotta clean it up. We also had a goal to get a new personal best race finish, ideally top 5. We got 6th, which was a new best finish for us, and we also had a new best qualifying, but fell just a little short of our top 5 goal. So, our target next year is definitely some top 5s, and we really want that first podium.
And you know what? It's gonna happen. 110%, dude. It's gonna happen. I'm excited. So, goals for this year, like your expectation going into this season. Is it going to be another full season, or?
Yeah, so definitely another full MotoAmerica season. Definitely going to do the Daytona 200 and the Loudon Classic again. I had a lot of fun at that event, and both those races have a really big purse. So for me, that's a big motivator. So we're going to do those 2 races, and then MotoAmerica again. Probably supersport. There's a chance maybe a different championship or multiple championships, but still working out those details. But yeah, we're going to do full season. We've continued to close the gap to that podium. I remember at Coda, we were less than 6 seconds away from the podium. It was the first time I could actually see the podium when I crossed the finish. So that was really cool.
Yes.
Yeah, just in sight, right? So yeah, our goals are we want a podium. That would be the ultimate thing. We want top 5s. Anything where we get a new best race result is good. I always have the goal of I want to improve my lap times at every single track we go to, assuming it's dry and stuff. So yeah, I want to get faster at every track we go to. Let's get a bunch of top 5s. Let's get some new, best race results, best qualifyings, podium. Let's do it. That's the goal.
I love it. And I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be proper mega for sure. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's going to be fun.
So going into, let's say it happens if you race in two multiple different championships, would you race a bagger?
Absolutely, yeah. I'd definitely consider a bagger. In fact, I was considering one this past season. It's a class where there's a lot of fan draw, which is really nice, and you get a lot of factory support. There's some good money in that class, and I've always been a fan of like ripping things fast that maybe aren't supposed to go super fast, kind of like baggers, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, I mean, send it, right? Like
Send
baggers
it,
is like a
exactly.
great send it class. So I'm all for it. Like I want to go and I want to, go fast on anything. Baggers, thousands. I've been doing some thousand riding. And every time I hop on 1,000, I'm like, these bikes are so much fun.
Right.
I just want to ride them.
Right.
So maybe something on 1,000, maybe bagger. Yeah.
Super hooligan.
Maybe that one. I'm not really thinking about as much. I mean, I would do it. I'm sure we could get some good results. We could probably get our first podium in that class pretty easily. Maybe, I don't know if I'm talking out my ass or what, but I'd like to think we do well. But
right.
Yeah, I'm always trying to improve, and I think the classes that are going to push me are like super sport, baggers, super bike, like those classes. So I like going and chasing the really fast guys because that's how I learn the quickest.
Yeah. All right. Well, iron sharpens iron. I mean, that's the old saying, right? So, yeah, man, that dude. So my dad, I brought him to Jersey. It was me, him, and my son Rossi. He was, dude, I want to go see the Indians. I gotta go see the baggers. Blah blah blah. So come on, I'm gonna introduce you to my friend Max Flinders. He actually races a bagger. So let me walk you over there. And the guy's like, yeah, I forget the guy's name that was actually working on his bike. Yeah, come on in, man, and check out
Brandon?
the bike. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Brandon, dude,
Brandon
my dad's
yeah.
eyes were like this big, bro. I'm standing outside talking to Max, just watching my dad in my peripheral, and his eyes are like this big. He's like, oh my God, drooling all over it. He's like, this was nothing like my old Harley. I was like, nah, dude, this is
yeah.
These are proper weapons right here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those are proper race bikes. They're a good ways off of what you could go to the Harley dealership and buy.
Right. So, and I'm sure that class is very expensive, probably, to get into.
Yeah, I mean it's like a super bike class now. They're spending lots of money, and it's got good factory support. Like it's nothing to scoff at. That class,
no, it's not.
It rips.
It does, and so I also hear that they're going to be in BSB. How awesome would that be?
Yeah, I've heard that a little bit, and yeah, I think that's awesome. Like anything that grows the sport is great, and the baggers definitely seem to draw a lot of interest.
Well, it does, because it brings the baggers. Before, when it was nothing but before the baggers, we'll say, right? It was just all crotch rockets, right? And there's not a lot of Harley Davidson people that are into crotch rocket and racing, right? They'd rather go watch drag racing or NASCAR or whatever. But once the baggers and the Indians, the Harleys and the Indians come into it, yeah, we brought a whole new audience. And honestly, that's what's keeping MotoAmerica afloat, is the bagger class, I think, right? It's man, they just bring a different aspect of viewers and groups of people, right? And hopefully some more outside sponsorships.
Yeah, definitely.
So would you ever consider going across the pond and racing in BSB?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's tons of tracks over there that I'd love to try. And I've raced with a bunch of, BSB riders that have come over here, and they're great dudes. Like the True Love brothers, I just saw them at Daytona, and I've raced with them, and I've had a lot of fun. And yeah, I'd love to go check out, their series, what their tracks are like, and see how I can hold up over there.
Yeah, so BSB is my favorite race organization in the world, over MotoGP, World Superbike, Moto A, and all that. And the main reason why, it's not because their tracks are better than our tracks, or they're faster than we are. It has nothing to do with that. Well, one, they have Cadwell Park, which we'll talk about in a second, which was fucking amazing. That's all I can say. It was like, anyway, we'll get to that. Their Superbike class, they don't have a whole lot of rider aids. So it's old school proper racing, They don't have a lot of that engine braking and traction control and blah blah blah. So it's old school feel. As the tire wears, you adjust your body position, you learn your racecraft changes, all that, instead of just it does too on a PlayStation bike, right? Obviously, but it's hitting all these buttons and switches and Sega Genesis and Nintendos and all that, right? It's a little crazy. But Cadwell, I went this year, and Carl, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life when them guys come over that mountain jump. I just said it. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed, man. For real. Minus next to my bucket list is the Isle of Man TT, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But dude, Josh Brooks, Ryan Vickers, man, when they 4 and 5 feet, their rear tires up off the ground, and you're standing there and you're like, bro, this is like crazy, right? It's poetry in motion, and it's just nothing but love. Send it. It's magical. That's all I could say. But also, Carl, the track is like this wide, right?
Yeah, super narrow. Yeah.
And once you come over the mountain course, the track, it's narrow anyway, but you got tires on stacks of tires on both sides. So it goes from like an open course all the way through to where you get to the mountain jump, and then it closes off. So it's kind of like a little Isle of Man TT course, right? Because you don't want to make a mistake. You're not really hauling that much ass through there. I mean, they are, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it blew my mind. And there's certain sections where I could me and you could go and we could sit there and stand, and the riders, when they're coming by, they're like 8 feet from us. And it's just crazy how close you can get on some of those sections.
Yeah, that's one of those tracks that I definitely want to hit if I ever go overseas there. That's an iconic one.
So I showed up real quick and met these two really good lads, Paul and my buddy Malcolm. I didn't have to get a rental car. They come pick me up every day. They took me to Cadwell on Wednesday, walked me around the track. It was it's a magical place. It really is. It's so, and I tell everybody, because I get asked the question a lot, Carl, what do we do better, right? Dude, MotoAmerica to me is the best at what they do as far as it's like an open pit, right? So you don't have to have a special $300 pit pass for MotoGP or a special pass in BSB or World Superbike, just to get up and close to the riders. As you know, it's $80 for the weekend or whatever it is. And I can go find Carl over there. What is up, Carl? What's going on, my man? How you doing? How you feeling this weekend? Bob, can I get a picture autograph? Yeah, sure, blah, 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 and that's where we achieve, right? And I love that about MotoAmerica. And I think that if all the other race organizations would have that same standard, I think it would help grow the sport even more, because, I mean, let's just be honest. You were a fan of the sport, but before you turn into the legend of you. Yeah, I'm going to keep saying that, legend. Carl Legend. Yes, that's it. That's your new nickname, by the way, Legend.
I like it. I'll take it.
Yes, good. It needs to be on the bike too. No, I'm just playing.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. So, look, Rossi's showing you his bike. Yeah, he got a gas.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think sweet.
It's magical. I highly recommend it. You would, but that's where we achieve, though, for real, is because when you're a fan of the sport, when you go to a race, I mean, you have expectations of seeing your favorite rider and getting a picture and stuff, right? And when you get there and you figure out you got to have this special pass just to even get close to them, unless you end up going away from the circuit and happen to run into them somewhere, right? Which is not very likely. But that's where we excel as MotoAmerica. Easy access, right? So, and also for our young kids, when they come, right, and they see their favorite rider, like Rossi, we went to VIR the last 2 years because I'm close to that. I go every year, but Rossi, he wanted to go the last 2, so we went, and he's literally running around the paddock. I don't know if you've seen him, blonde hair. You seen him? He's running around the paddock telling everybody, "Hey man, you dropped your pencil," and they look down and he just start laughing. Right, I'm talking about he'd run underneath the tents where people are like, "You can't go in there, Rossi," and he runs up in there. He tap you on the shoulder and be like, "Hey man, you dropped your pen," and they would look down and look at him because here's this kid, right, with long hair just making this joke, and he'd laugh and take off. And yeah, man, it was awesome to see. So he goes up to Jake Gagne, and Jake Gagne, I see him standing there, and he sees Rossi doing it. He because he's going diagonally down the whole alleyway, right? And he's standing there, and he had a pen, and Rossi went up to him and was like, "Hey, man, you dropped your pen." And Jake dropped his pen before Rossi went up to him, right? He's like, "Well, you talking about that one?" And Rossi looks down. He's like, "Oh, no, this one," right? And they just had their moment. He goes in there, and he grabs a knee slider, he signs it, gives it to Rossi, and my son's smile was just like ear to ear. And he's like, "Dad, this is so cool." I'm like, so you wouldn't get that nowhere else, is my point, right? It's to me, it's everything. It's awesome, man. So yeah, listen, we've had enough bike talk. Carl, I want to know about what you do away from motorcycles, right? So do you read books? What's your favorite book?
Oh man, yeah, I love reading books. I've read a ton of books. Favorite book? That's a tough one. Man, I really liked The Martian. I read about an engineer, I think, that gets trapped on Mars. That was a really good book that I liked. When I was younger, I read a lot of Michael Crichton. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right, but I really liked the Jurassic Park books that he wrote.
Yeah.
He had some other ones too, Andromeda Strain. But yeah, I read a lot of science fiction books, so I'm into that sort of stuff.
Nice. Yeah. So I read too. Well, Carl, when I say read, I listen to audiobooks, man, because I find myself now that if I literally sit down and I get into a book, I'm reading the back of my eyelids, and and then I wake up the next day. I'm like, man, what the hell happened? Where an audiobook, it's like listening to a podcast. I got to throw it in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're a podcaster. That makes sense.
Right. So audiobook to me is everything. But yeah, man, I listen to a lot of so the last one that I really listened to was David Goggins, his second one. Which I recommend. You need to get his first one too. It's really good. And then of course, me being the super fan that I am, I got Shaky Byrne, John McGinnis. I mean, you name it, all of Guy Martin. I got so many, pretty much any motorcycle racing book on audiobook. This guy right here has it and listens to. It's but Star Trek or Star Wars.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
So I've read some Star Wars books. I like those. I've gotten into some of the Halo books. I was big playing video games. Halo I liked.
Halo's good, man. So I'm big into the Spartans, and that's why I liked Halo.
Yeah,
Spartans, right?
Same,
dude,
man.
I love, the Egyptian and the whole Greek and that whole mythology with the Spartans and the Athenians and the Battle of Thermopylae. Man, this is a whole other subject me can get into for sure because I love that shit. Man.
Oh yeah, history is great.
It really is.
I love human history. It's interesting.
And that's one thing. I hated Lorenzo. Like, I take it back. I don't want to say hate. Hate's such a bad word. I tell my son, don't ever use it. The dislike, because I'm such a huge Rossi fan, right? Obviously, if you're such a fan, right. So when you see somebody, you're like, and then when he come out with that Spartan thing, I was like, okay, you kind of won me over just this much, right? So I don't dislike you, but this much,
I was like
more,
and he also I'm totally with you on that. I thought the same thing. I was like, damn, that's good. Kind of wish Rossi did that.
Right,
but then he also had the Moon Man helmet, and I love that Moon Man helmet. He planted like a flag. I was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
It's good. Yes, it's good. Cool. You're good. Okay. Yeah. You just come up my scale a little bit more. I get it. Yes, you're winning me over. But now that he's retired, man, Lorenzo was a beast. You can't take nothing from him because on his day, man, he was just butter and hammer. It was over, right? Just like Stoner and just like Rossi. But yeah,
he's an alien. Yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, I do like to read, man. And my last motorcycle book was actually Shaky Byrne, which was really good. Yeah, I love BSB. Oh, by the way, do you watch BSB?
Just the highlights. Yeah, I haven't seen many of the actual races. You
can watch it for free, and I tell everybody this. Unlike any other racing out there in the world, it's staying where they do better too. Bennett's BritishSuperbikes.com. 2024. Click on it. It has a live. You can either listen to the commentary live as they're out there on the track. It's called TSL. It brings it up, or you can watch the live video of them actually racing, and it's all free. And I love that. But dude, when we get off here, well, I know you're at work, you got to go back, but when you have some time, you need to go back and Google the 2023, the last race of the year. Come down to the whoever won it. Took the championship, and it was awesome. Magical. I mean, the last MotoGP race we just had was really good, right?
Yeah, that was super good. What?
But this is even better.
Okay.
No, this is even better. right. And to me, the last World Superbike race was a little bit better than the MotoGP race. And I guess the main reason why I say that, man, yes, it was very proper racing. I hated that Johnny Ray, ended up wrecking out, but it was a kind of a goodbye for Top Rack and Johnny and switching teams and all that good stuff. But it was proper racing too. I mean, it was one hell of a battle, right? I'm on the edge of my seat. I'm like, yes. And then of course with the GP, everybody knows, man, that dude, if Pecco would have made that pass on the outside.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Dude,
he came in so
legendary.
Deep.
Yes. Yeah, he came really close. He's got balls to even do that because you're off the line. It's slipped.
Dirty part of the track.
Man, championship on the line. Jorge's chasing you, breathing down your neck. He's more than breathing down your neck. He's right here. Right? He ain't on
he's
your neck.
Nipping at the heels. Yep.
So awesome. So let me ask you this. Do you believe in aliens?
I believe with how vast the universe is, it seems unlikely that there wouldn't be other life out there.
Okay.
But I won't say I fully believe one way or the other.
No, yeah.
There's no evidence.
I see. No, I'm with you. Are you a flat earther? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, the Earth is flat."
Well, 71% of the Earth is water, right? And it's not carbonated, so technically it's flat. But no, the Earth is round.
Yeah, I know. I'm messing with you, man. I like it. Dude, favorite movie?
Oh, wow. It's either Hot Rod or Dumb and Dumber.
Dude, Dumb and Dumber is magical. Hot Rod's good too, but yes, Dumb and Dumber is.
That's a classic.
Dude, just smiling on that moped. I got all, but yeah, dude, it was. Yeah, I cried laughing on that movie, man. Yeah, absolutely. So, celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. I don't even know. That's a good question. I don't know what my current celebrity crush is, but I can tell you back in the day, my first celebrity crush was the Pink Power Ranger. She was smoking.
Right? Yeah. The
Kimberly.
Power Ranger. Yeah, Kimberly. That was. I was trying to think of her name. Kimberly. You're right.
Yeah. Now I don't know. I don't know now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. If we made a movie about you, what actor would play you in your movie?
Ooh, interesting question. I don't know. Well,
good question.
Everyone I'm thinking of is going to be like older than me, and it's like I would need someone younger, right?
Well, they got CGI, man. I mean, look at Tom Cruise. He's 30 years old and he's like 90, right? I mean,
yeah. I don't know. Marky Mark, maybe.
I like it. Mark Wahlberg, yes. Yeah, dude, man. So I was a huge fan of Mark, not his music, but man, I like him in his movies, man. Mark's hilarious.
Yeah,
such a good guy. He's the other guys, man. That movie has me cry. I love that.
Oh yeah, that movie is
the other guys is awesome. So I asked you earlier, Star Wars or Star Trek. Which one do you prefer, Star Wars or Star Trek?
I'm Star Wars. Yep.
Me too. I'm a Star Wars nerd. Everybody knows. I watch Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, all the Star Wars, all the cartoons. I watch it all together, and it's man. Who don't want a lightsaber, right? Everybody in their life that's ever listened to this, you always wanted to force choke somebody. Don't lie. Don't lie to yourself.
I wanted the Boba Fett jump pack too.
Yes, right. Just put it on and be like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Deuces, see you guys later. Yeah, that's
God. Yeah, and then when they were doing the pod racing, that's like space motorcycles. Sign me up,
dude. I love that. Yeah, dude.
Through Endor, through the woods on
on those little
speeder bikes,
the speeder ones. Yeah, man. It was
sign me up.
Absolutely, sign me up. So, would you ever ride the Isle of Man TT?
Oh, absolutely. That's another bucket list track. Yep.
Yeah. So I have a good buddy, Adam. he actually goes out there and rides, and it's proper, right? I mean, my buddy Forrest, I had him on the podcast. He races it too, and then Joey Thompson, we had him on. He races that, and he's going to the Macau and Oliver's Mountain and all that good stuff. Those are to me the TT is my favorite race of the entire year. BSB is my favorite race series because of they don't really have any rider age, right? This is your rider age and all that good stuff. So it's but the TT, bro, that's such a magical place, right? It's different set of balls, of course, right? And different mentality, different mindset. It's something you don't tackle unless you've played many years probably on a PlayStation and rented a car and went over there and drove the course and just every bump, line, turn in, brake, this, that, there's so much that goes into it. And I highly commend. But to me, the craziest ones of all is the sidecars, and not the guy driving it, but the guy sitting in the side of it, the monkey. Yes, dude, would you do that?
Oh yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. Dude, I would rather be the the guy operating the motorcycle, but I've been a monkey before, and I'd do it. But man, I would have to really trust whoever it was.
Right. So, dude, what was it like being a monkey?
I was awesome. Like, I mean, because it's like, I don't know. I've never done anything like that before, but you see what, the monkeys do on TV. So, I'm trying to emulate that, like hang off the thing as much as possible. And then like, you're dragging a bunch of stuff on the ground you wouldn't normally drag. And then like, you also have to make sure you're not getting into the tire. Like when you're hanging off, like I kept rubbing on the tire a bit, but man, that's a lot of work. Like you think for just being a passenger, you wouldn't be so tired, but you're jumping around from side to side so much that like it's a lot of work, and like you got to be smooth with the transition too. The other thing is like you gotta like know your partner, like whoever it is, like when they're gonna turn, when they're gonna the brakes, what are they gonna do, because you have to time all your stuff to line up with it. If you get out of sync, like it throws everything way off. And it's also just it's unique because like those things turn so much better one way than they do the other. So it's like it's just a different kind of mindset when you're going around the track, and like it's just really interesting. I haven't done enough of it, but like I've done enough that I'm like, this is cool. I'd love to get into super sidecar sometime and like really try it out properly.
Yeah, that class right there is like I said, the most fascinating. It really is, because it's two-wheel race. Well, three-wheel racing technically, right? Let's just be honest. It's got three wheels on it. Yeah. But the style, having trust in that bond. Plus, the monkey sitting on the side's got to know the track inside and out, every bump inside and out, just like the driver does, right? The rider. Yeah. So it's super important, and it's awesome. But listen, Carl, bro, what an honor it was to have you on. We're coming up on an hour, man, and I know you're busy at work, and I know you got to get back into it, man. So listen, let's do a part 2.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm in. It's definitely been fun.
Yeah. Good. I was hoping I was going to ask you if you had fun, because listen, y'all, when we get off here, he's actually going to delete my number and tell me to F off on Facebook. I ain't doing this no more right now. I'm just
playing, you know where to find me.
Yeah.
Right at the racetrack.
Yeah. I'm just joking, but yes, what an honor, man. Listen, an honor. I keep saying this. Yeah. Let's do a part 2, but before I close this out and get off here, Carl, tell everybody how they can follow the legend himself.
Yeah, so you can check me out. I've got my website. It's just my name, carlsoltisz.com. If it's easier to remember, you can also do supercarlracing.com. Both will take you to the same place. On socials, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Carl Soltisz for both Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Super Carl will also get you there. So give me a like, give me a follow. I post tons of cool riding videos all the time to YouTube, and I'm always posting content from the season and all the races and stuff I'm going to on Facebook and Instagram. So like, follow, tell your friends, buy some merch.
weeks, right? Yeah, Deuce was, yeah, exactly what he said. Everybody buy some merch, man. He's got merch. We got merch. Everybody's got merch. Just reach out and we'll definitely hook everybody up. But again, what an honor to sit down with the legend myself. You guys know who I am. I'm Chris the Show Simcoe. This is going to be out on Spotify, iHeart, and all that good stuff tomorrow. And if you missed it, guess what? You can go back and rewatch it right now as soon as I end this video on Facebook or YouTube. And like I said, tomorrow. But anyway, what an honor. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate everybody that watched and comments and likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. And the legend himself, my man, Carl. Thank you. Until next time.
Thank you.